Hello, welcome to my channel, Crafty Fox DIYs. In this video, I'm going to share some beach coastal themed Christmas decor ideas with you. Okay, let's get into it. For this first project, I have one of these seashell, I'm not sure what you call this, but I got it from Dollar Tree and it has these seashells on it and they're in a string together. And on the reverse side, it spells out the word enjoy. And because I'm using this for a Christmas decoration, then I am taking stencils and I'm stenciling on the letters to spell out the word Merry. You could use whatever you would like. The word peace would be another good option for this. You could also paint the shells and use whatever colors you would like for your letters, just whatever suits your Christmas decor style. Okay, and there is that. Okay, now for this next project, I am taking these clear ornaments that I got from Dollar Tree. They were in a 2-pack, and I am just putting in some pine and then adding some seashells and some colored glass rocks just to give it that beachy coastal vibe. So there those are. You can see the seashells and the little glass in there. You could put sea glass in them, whatever you would like. Okay, for this third project, I'm using these little orb-like things. I also got these from Dollar Tree, and they already had the rope wrapped around them. And then I'm just taking a piece of pine and I just put that inside of there. And then I'm taking some of this jute twine that I got from Dollar Tree, and it also has like a sea blue green kind of color in there with the regular tan of the jute. And I just made just a simple little loopy bow and glue that on there. And I'm going to do that to both of those. And then in the middle of the bow, I'm going to glue a seashell on there. And then I got these small balls at Dollar Tree. They come in a pack. I think there's like 15 of them in there, and they were small enough that I was able to stick those in there as well. I put a silver one in and a dark blue one. Okay, and there those are. Okay, now for this next project, I have these starfish and sand dollars that I also got from Dollar Tree. Now, all of this stuff that I got from Dollar Tree, well, I think they start selling them like in March or April. And I already knew last year I wanted to create some beachy coastal themed decor for my bathroom instead of just always doing the same thing that I always do with like Santa Clauses and all that. And so whenever the time came around this year, Dollar Tree stocked up this stuff, then I already had planned out what I wanted to make. So I kind of had in my mind what items I would need to buy from Dollar Tree. And so I got these starfish and sand dollars and the twine and the orbs and all of that then. Other things I also got foraging, and I'll tell you more about that when we get there. And then I had this little tree. I had made this up just from an old garland that I had, and a table leg pot that it's in is a fabric softener container. Some of the containers you can get have really nice designs on them, and this one did. It had like a diamond pattern underneath, and so I used that. And then I also have this fairy lights that I got from Timu, and I put those on my tree along with some other blue and green, or two different colors of blue ornaments. Okay, now for this one, I'm using one of those sand dollars, and this is a piece of wood that I got whenever I went foraging for driftwood. And this was a piece of board that was down there, and you could tell where it had been beat against the rocks, and all of that is nice and smooth on the edges and everything. And I have this nautical rope also. I'm going to use the sand dollar for the O and the nautical rope for my other letters. I'm going to spell out the word joy. Another word that would be good for this would be Noel, because you could use the sand dollar for the O. And also those letters would all be easy to make with the rope. Okay, so I'm just taking my nautical rope and I'm making it into a J. And I had to put hot glue on it to keep each of the strands from unraveling. So you just have to do that. And then I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue to glue the sand dollar onto my board. And then I'm also going to use some more of the nautical rope to make the letter Y. There I go, putting that hot glue in there and twisting that up to make sure each of the strands don't come apart. Now I'm making the long side of the Y. And then I'm just going to use hot glue once again to secure that onto this board. And then I will make the short part. It's very simple to do, but it's a very nice piece. I love how it turns out. I'm just so happy with it. And you could do more to yours than what I'm doing. If you would like, you could use some of that twine to create a little bow to put on the sand dollar. But I chose to just leave mine a little more simple. Now I do take the twine and create a hanger because I am going to be hanging this up in my bathroom. I just created like 4 strands and then hot glued and stapled it onto my board. Okay, now for this next one, I'm making a tree. And these are some of the driftwood I was just talking about that I went down. We live not too far from the Ohio River. So that's where we went. We went down there and walked around and found some really nice driftwood pieces. And so I'm just taking one piece of driftwood and then different sizes of driftwood and gluing those using hot glue together to create a tree shape. So just like I said, just taking the driftwood and using hot glue. You could also use wood glue because it's wood, but I decided that just using hot glue would be enough. And I just had different shapes and different sizes, they're different colors. They were all really nice and worked great to create this really cute tree here. And then I'm going to just take a can. I tried to decide what I could use for the base, and I thought a can would probably be something that you could find, just laying around. So, at a beachy spot. So that's what I decided to use. And I'm also going to use a piece of this nautical rope, and I'm going to just use some hot glue to secure the rope onto the can. I'm just going to do that all the way around the top of the can. You could use whatever you would want to do this. If you had, a nice sea glass jar or something, that would make a good base. Even just another piece of driftwood, you could, glue the two together to create a base. This is just how I chose to do mine, and I will show you more of why I thought this was, a good option. Because I also have some sand that I gathered from down there by the river, and I'm going to use it to help hold my tree up. I put hot glue on the bottom, and then I just put the sand around it, and it just helped hold it up into my can. And then once I get all of the sand in there that I wanted, then I'm going to take some more of the seashells and the glass stones that I have, and I'm going to put those in there all around the base of my tree and just fill that in. And once again, you could use whatever you want to do. You could add whatever you wanted to your tree. If you wanted to put some ornaments on there or make some bows or whatever, however you want to do it. If you want to put some seashells on your tree, I chose to just leave mine a little more simple, just like this. And I love it. It's another one of my favorite projects in this video. Okay, there we have it. Yeah, I think it's great. Okay, now for this next one, I just want to show you this little mermaid that I have. I glued a seashell in her hand. Okay, now for this next one, we're making, instead of a snowman, it is going to be a sandman. And I just happen to have this glass piece here. I'm not sure what it is. But if you didn't have one of these, you could just use like foam balls, glue 2 foam balls together, and then you've got your body, or 3 balls together, and you've got the whole thing. And then just cover it in Mod Podge and sprinkle on some sand. And that's what I'm doing here. And it has some places where it didn't completely cover, so I just went back over that. And now for this one, because this didn't have a head, I'm using a ping pong ball and just doing the same method I did with the other piece, just putting some Mod Podge on and sprinkling on the sand. Now that they've all dried, then I took my X-Acto knife and made a hole in the bottom of the ping pong ball so I could glue it on top, because there was like a little nub on the top of the body part. And so I just used that to hold the ping pong ball on. And I'm taking some other smaller pieces of driftwood. This glass piece had holes in the side, and so I used that to put the driftwood arms in. And now I'm just taking some blue beads, and I'm going to glue those onto the body of the snowman for his little buttons, just like that. Now I'm going to take a piece of that twine, the bluish green twine, and I'm just tying it around his neck, sort of like a scarf. You could use whatever you'd want to if you wanted to make like a actual scarf, but I just wanted to go ahead and stick with the same colors that I was using and the same kind of materials. Now I'm taking a seashell and I'm going to glue that for the snowman's hat right on top of his head. And then for his nose, I'm just using a pipe cleaner. I didn't really have anything else that I thought would be suitable for a nose, and I think it turns out just fine. So I just used just a little piece of the pipe cleaner there for his nose, and then I just take a black marker and draw on his eyes and mouth. Just simple, not nothing fancy, just simple eyes and mouth, and then I have a happy little sandy snowman. I also glued on this little shell piece that I had and a little rock down there on the base just to give him a little more embellishment. And there he is. He's so cute. Okay, now for this next one, this is just a glass jar that I got from Dollar Tree. Once again, I just bought it, this past early spring. And it had starfish hanging off of it, a metal starfish. And I'm just putting some sand down inside of the jar. And then I'm adding some seashells and some of those blue glass rocks down in there as well. And then I also have a battery operated tea light, and it's just going to create, a nice little lantern. It's not, so much Christmassy themed, but it's going to go along with the other decorations that I have made. And I'm just taking this jute twine again, and I'm going to wrap it around right over top of the jute twine that was already on there, tied into a bow, and I'm going to tie it the same way. I'm just going to tie this one into a bow, leaving the other one on. And then I'll just trim off my tails, and I'm going to take a seashell and I'm going to hot glue some of the twine onto it. First I'm just going to tie it off to make a hanger, and then I'm going to hot glue that onto the seashell so that I can hang it from the jar. Okay, got the knot tied. Then I'm just, like I said, just going to hot glue that on there. And then instead of hot gluing it onto the jar, I'm just taking the little hanger that I made, and I'm going to slip the loops from the bow through it so that it'll just hang down from the bow, just like that. Okay, there's my lantern. Okay, now for this last project, I had this hanger. It's this old starfish hanger, and it has, the hooks on there. And I'm going to make a wreath to hang on the hooks. So I'm just taking this pine garland that I got from Dollar Tree and just determine the size that I want my wreath to be. And then I cut double the length so that way I could wrap one strand around one strand, and that would make it nice and thick. And then I'm just going to trim it off. I don't want it to be completely trim. I want it to be a little scraggly, but I don't want it to be super scraggly. So I'm just going to trim it off just to make it look a little neater. And then I'm going to take some seashells and I'm going to glue those onto the wreath. I'm also going to reach to my bag and find some pieces of the blue glass stones that I'd like to put on there, and so I put those on as well. And then I'm going to just wrap some of the twine around my hand. I believe I've done it about 4 or 5 times to create just a little loopy bow to glue onto my wreath. Once I get it all wrapped up and take it off, then I'm going to cut a piece of twine and tie it in the middle to make it look like a loopy bow. And I just trim off the long pieces and then just hot glue it onto my wreath. I just determine where I want it to go. Yeah, and there we go, right there on the side. And I just glue that right on there, and then it will hang down on my hook. Okay, let's take one final look at all of these projects. Okay, that's all for this video. Let me know if you decorate your bathroom for Christmas, and if so, what theme do you use? All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.